Seema, talk us through retail and a bright spot finally, and we've had a few of them through earnings season as well.
Yeah, but they've been very sparse. Yesterday you had Lowe's and you had Tiffany's. This morning you had Signet, and all across the board, I mean, there were misses. Yesterday you had Williams-Sonoma. That was a little bit better than expectations, but still actually not great. And I think Best Buy, because of mobile and gaming, they were better than expected, and that's why you're seeing that go up after a really long run of struggling.
So, Seema, we see these individual stories about retail that seem to be on a downward trend, and yet there's a piece in Bloomberg right now saying retail overall is up, that there's a steady upward trend in terms of total sales as well as employment. I mean, it's remarkable. It says that roughly half of consumer spending is from retail. So how do you put those two things together? Retail overall, globally, is up, and yet you have all these sad stories.
I think there's a disconnect between those macro indicators and what's actually happening at the ground. On the one level, you see retail up because you're seeing growth in online. That is one thing. But I think separately, the legacy retailers are struggling with how to compete and how they should look as retailers in this new environment. And secondly, I don't think the consumer is as strong as it appears by some of those macro indicators. So
online, obviously a huge story in retail. At the same time, if you look simply at employment, again, this Bloomberg story tells us that 15.9 million Americans work in retail, and that number is going up. You would think if it was all going over online, that you'd see a real reduction in the employment in retail.
You have actually in areas when you see these store closures, you are seeing that reduction, but it's also, I'm not sure if that growth in retail is counting the supply chain side of the retailer, the distribution centers as they grow their online business.
Which would feed into online.
Yes,
Working on those warehouses.
Yes, exactly.